I want to hit it from the Texans side of things right now. How scary are the Texans after adding Stefon Diggs? And Zay, the mic is yours.
You talking about Tank Dell, you talking about Nico Collins, you talking about Stefon Diggs, you got Joe Mixon. That team is it loaded on offense. It's a lot of weapons on that team. The only question is health. How healthy will they be? Tank Dell coming off that leg injury, that's scary. Nico Collins, I believe he had a leg injury as well, or was it a shoulder? I forgot what it was with him that had an injury later in the season. But him coming back, what's going to look like. And I think with the biggest issue or biggest question mark is, are the Texans going to be as healthy as they were last year offensive line wise? Because I think they're one of the healthier offensive lines, and they stuck through it through the entire season into the damn playoffs. And I think that's where you started to show the little wear and tear of the offensive line breaking down. But I think this team is as scary as anyone. I think you should expect fireworks the same way people called explosion on the Miami Dolphins. You can expect that with this Houston Texans team in year 2 of this coaching staff, CJ Stroud, of seeing just defenses left and right. And I think rookie years for any quarterback is the scariest because they don't know what to expect. And I think this year he's going to have a little more glimpse of what's going to be anticipated of him and what it's going to be anticipated of the defenses playing against him. So I think this is going to be a very, very frightening year for any team playing against the Texans.
Yeah, and I jump in and then you could bring us home. I think for me, what this means is that the Texans are legitimate, bold contenders. And the reason why I bring that up is because I think this move right here is showing everybody the value. I mean, there's obviously examples way beyond, way before this. But in another example of why it's valuable to have a quarterback on his rookie deal, because you could be able to supply and build the team around the quarterback. I think when you talk about adding a guy like Stefon Diggs, I mean, clearly this wide receiver room was good because we saw the evolution of Tank Dell. We saw the evolution of Nico Collins, but now Stefon Diggs is giving Stroud a every down type wide receiver who's going to be healthy. I understand they tried to trade for Keenan Allen. That fell through. He went to the Bears, but you're getting a more durable guy and is a little bit younger than Keenan Allen. So they're going to be a contender, clearly. Stroud is that dude. But I think it speaks to the testament of why teams like the Bears are moving on from their former quarterbacks, right? Because a lot of people, took it to heart when they gave up on Justin Fields. But when you look at it, being able to reset the quarterback clock is how you're able to add and supply talent around that particular rookie quarterback on his rookie deal. And I think even if Caleb Williams was to come into Chicago and wet the bed completely, it still would be the right decision. Them drafting a quarterback may not be the right quarterback if that happens, but it's still the right decision to reset your quarterback clock so you can build around, the quarterback who's probably going to be the most expensive player on your team in the future. So I think in closing, when you look at the Texans and the Bears, those are two teams that I consider winners of the free agency, mainly because they were able to build a team with the affordability of having two quarterbacks in his rookie deal, whereas the two losers of free agency, the Chargers and the Bills, in my opinion, you have expensive quarterbacks and you lost Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, 1 and 2. You lost Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis, 1 and 2. So I'll leave it at that.
And the Chargers lost Eckler too. So
Exactly.
they're
Yep.
not yeah. I love what you said. In regards to that cap situation, because Justin Fields' contract was, it's gonna come up. You're gonna have to pay him, and so that's not to say because I thought Justin Fields, I thought he was pretty good. This past season, obviously getting hurt, but I thought he was pretty good. And if you're telling me you're about to give him Keenan Allen to go along with DJ Moore, and even if they didn't wind up, let's say they didn't draft the quarterback, and you possibly add Marvin Harrison Jr. to that rotation, I would love Justin Fields even more because I think he could do something crazy with that. And then the running back they brought over as well. I'm drawing a blank on the running back we just.
You talking about DeAndre Swift?
There you go, DeAndre Swift, who was probably coming off of having his best season. But yeah, I think they did they did what they had to do. Hopefully, Caleb Williams works out for them. Now, in regard to the Texans, what I love about the Texans is this is a team that just a couple of seasons ago everybody was down on because they traded everything away. They had no draft picks, so you couldn't build this team up, through the draft. They traded the linemen away. All of these big pieces, the big names, they traded away, and now we're talking about them, and I'm talking about them now as legitimate championship contenders now with the addition of Stefon Diggs, with the addition of Joe Mixon, who was one of the better running backs in this league. So now you add Stefon Diggs to a core of Nico Collins, Tank Dell, those guys who
Ant, you still there? I think we lost our guy Ant. Yeah, I just respond while Ant is on. I'm trying to get that figured out. We can't have no dead air time. But I think for me, man, in closing, on my NJ, I think when you talk about where I'm picking up where he left off about the cap situation and stuff like that, and the value of having a quarterback on his rookie deal, I think when you look at it, that's why a lot of teams in the NFL is not being patient when it comes to the development of a quarterback. That's why you see the 49ers giving up on Trey Lance so quickly. That's why you see the Jets giving up on Zach Wilson. That's why you see the Bears giving up on Justin Fields. It's a clock when you're a quarterback. And number one, I have to build my team. All right. So chances are when I draft you, if you're a highly invested pick, there's a reason why I'm picking that early because my team is trash and I got to build from the trenches to the skills positions. And I don't have that amount of time. That's normally like a 2 to 3 year process. And then when that happens, I'm expecting you within 2 years to take a leap. So this way I know if you're going to be my guy when I pick up your 5th year option and now I got to commit to you financially. And now it's like, okay, that's the main reason. It's the quarterback clock of why quarterbacks are being given up on so early. And I think when you talk about CJ Stroud, his contract is value and they're going to be able to build around a guy like Stroud. And that's why it also ties into the first topic with Josh Allen, because now he has an expensive contract, and now we got to fire sale and get rid of Diggs. And that's the model. It's okay. When you're on your rookie deal, I'm going to supply you with talent, and we're going to go for this thing. And then eventually, when I have to pay you, because quarterback is the most important position on the field, then we're probably going to lose the Stefon Diggs. Then we're probably going to lose the Keenan Allen. And then I'm trusting in you of being the franchise quarterback. There's a reason why I gave you that money. I'm trusting in you to still make do with the talent around you, even if it's subtracted. So Zay, I'll let you respond to that.
Yeah, I think it's a great component because that's another question I have, like in terms of what this Texans team is building and what they have, because they still have a lot of draft capital. Where after they traded Deshaun Watson away, and they still got the Browns picks, still got their own picks. They got a lot of things working out for them, and on top of that, they have Stefon Diggs. I believe he's under contract for another 2-3 years, something like that, because he signed an extension. He had a big payday on Buffalo. So I think he still has another couple of years that he's going to work with this Texans team. Now, his ego and everything else that happens is that going to come into play on this young Houston Texans team that they really don't need him. Like, that Texans team was explosive without him. He brings a different component to it. He brings a different explosion to that offense, and we have to see what his attitude is in that offense when they're winning games. Because if he's all about his numbers, then it's going to be a difficult location for him because CJ Stroud's a quarterback who dots everybody. He finds everybody. He found Nico Collins a lot. He found Tank Dell a lot. He found I forgot the backup receiver's name, but he used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He found him a
Noah
lot.
Brown.
Yep, they found him a lot. He was having crazy numbers. So it's just about, if you're patient, you get your numbers will get there. You will be if you're just patient, he'll find you. But it's more so, it's not going to be you getting 12 to 13 targets a game. It might you getting 5 to 6, but those 5 to 6 will get you 100 yards plus a game. So that's going to be something that he may have to really say, all right, I'm gonna just let this young dude cook, and then I'll just be here available and ready when it's time to come. But I think in terms of the salary cap, bro, it's just like crazy, because I'm not even looking at the Texas team. I'm looking at how the Buffalo Bills took on all this dead cap money on his contract, but then now the Texans right now are going to reap all the benefits in terms of how it is going to help them like kind of catapult into a different caliber of team.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think when you think about it, it's hard for me to look at this Diggs trade from the Texans perspective and call it a lose, right? Like, even when you try to nitpick the what ifs that can possibly go wrong. Like, for example, Diggs not getting the ball and pulling off an AB, leaving mid game. I mean, it's hard for me to really look at this team as a loser. However, I would say this to add more context, even if it's on the contrary, even if it's slight, is that when you think about it, like, it puts pressure on that franchise to win immediately because Diggs is 30. And when you get over 30 as a wide receiver, your skills do diminish. Maybe not your IQ, right? Because you got guys like Keenan Allen that could run routes, not because he's fast, but because he can read a defense, right? So it's normally the legs is the first thing to go, and it's the IQ that goes last. However, if you don't win a championship and you do get Diggs at an older age and he start being the prima donna that he was on the Bills, I want the ball, goes to the team, then it's going to be harder for you to get rid of him, even if you got him for nothing, practically, because nobody's going to trade value premium for a guy who's over 30 who skills are probably going to diminish. That would be the only thing I would say of, caution in the win right there. But other than that, man, the Texans are looking good.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.